Well, greetings everyone. This blog finds me in transit, as I seem to be quite a bit these days. This time actually in New York City. I'm at the New York City's airport, waiting for my plane back home to Wheaton. But I do have this blog that I have to get prepared, and I have something of a taskmaster when it comes to our e-news letter, the person who puts it all together, Juliana Cesano. So not to waste a moment's time, I thought I would do it here and give you all a glimpse of the glamour of travel. So anyway, as with every month, this has been a busy one. It's had a few things that have punctuated it. One is that the change in seasons. First of all, it's something where, we've been through the beautiful fall season, and we had our first snow, which is always a very, very welcome affair. It only ceases to be welcome about 5 months in when we're waiting for spring. But right now, everybody, unanimous, it's lovely. But a couple of things happened. We had a little bit of celebration this month, the month of November. Deepawali, the Indian Festival of Lights, that was something that occurred. We also have a brand new presence on our grounds. We just recently put in a Buddha statue, which has been waiting to be for a place to be found for it for about 2 years now, since the Dalai Lama was here. So we have the absolute perfect place for it, and I think you will agree, those of you who ever do come to the place, I think you'll agree that it is just positioned beautifully, but we'll show you some photos of that. I did a little bit of speaking one time for IONS at a church in a local suburb. IONS is the Institute of Noetic Sciences, and it's a group that we're having progressively deeper and deeper links with. So I'll show you a couple of shots from that. And then we're in the process of starting a new Chicago group. For many, many years, Chicago was a hotbed of theosophical activity, but then in recent years, we lost our last group there. So we have just started with an effort to get a new group started there. So that's going to be taking place monthly. And those of you who are in the Chicago area, we invite you to come on down. You'll see news about it in this e-newsletter. And then also spoke in New York, where I'm just coming from. Their post-Thanksgiving Day talk, which was very well attended. Always good to connect with my old fellow New Yorkers. I'm something of an expat now. New Yorkers would say I'm a backslider, but I tend to look at it as an expatriate. And then also I want to show you some pictures from something that I think is going to be very important to us going forward. There was a meeting that was held in Sedona, Arizona, and it involved 3 different groups, and 4 counting the Theosophical Society, where we're trying to think in terms of how we can share resources to accomplish many of the things that are our goals, which basically, simple goal, human transformation. So we're not the only one who is involved in that, and so we're trying to see ways that we can work together with others. So we'll show you some shots of that as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed all the glamour of the airport. Welcome to my world. So our month started off with a celebration of Deepawali, Diwali it's also called, which is a festival of lights, where darkness is overcome by light. And so we get to eat good Indian food and dress up in wonderful Indian style, those who feel so inclined. So it was a wonderful time down in our dining hall, Nicholson Dining Hall. We all gathered. We had Lakshmi on the walls for prosperity and all of the different signs of the beautiful occasion that we shared. So everyone left well fed, good conversation, good time had by all. For about the last 2 years, we've had this beautiful Buddha, which bookstore manager Chris Dixon got back at the time of the Dalai Lama's visit with us, and we'd been just trying to think of the place to put it. Well, we decided on between these 6 black walnut trees that were all planted in 1929 by members of the Theosophical Society. It used to be 7, as I'm sure you could have guessed, but one of them fell down. So it's a beautiful location where we put it. There were some concerns about whether or not we'd be able to dig through the roots, but it went straight through, so obviously it was the proper place to install it. A whole bunch of us got together, strong arms, warm hearts, managed to do the work and get it in place. When it was finally put up, our own John Chianchosi, a former abbot of a Buddhist monastery, led us in proper mantra recitation for in celebration of the occasion. It's a beautiful presence, something that's really going to, already it's something that really attracts a lot of attention, and it's something that really has quite a presence. We're going to finish the landscaping around it when we get to the spring, but I invite you all to come out and visit. A little later in the month found me at an IONS event, Institute of Noetic Sciences, at the First United Church of Oak Park. It was on mystical practices of theosophy. It was an interesting group, had a good time there, beautiful church. A couple of the attendees, one was a Jesuit priest, shown here from the Catholic Church, of course, and another woman who was quite an accomplished artist, who is also a Catholic sister. So that was an interesting crowd. We also started up our Chicago group, which was at the space for Greenheart Transforms, which you'll hear a little bit more about them later on in this e-blog. But first night was me. I was speaking there, and it was a well-attended group, and we look forward to good things. Winter finally came early in November, so we had our first little snowfall, which is always a beautiful thing. So the ground was blanketed, all of our little pumpkins, all of our decorations. Just getting ready for what's to come for about the next 4 months. On November 21st, traveled down to Sedona, the Lantern Light Inn, which is where a very important meeting was held. It was sponsored and called for by Emmanuel Kunzelman of Greenheart Transforms. Emmanuel and his wife Laura were our hosts there, and it involved 3 other groups: Institute of Noetic Sciences, Integral Transformative Practices, and of course Greenheart. Christopher Dixon, who was the chief of staff here, and I traveled down there for the event. It was something that, although the weather, it rained a good deal of the time, it's of course a beautiful location and a very special place. But our meetings were held at the Lantern Light Inn, and they went pretty much all of the day. Not to say that it was all just dry talk. It was an awful lot of fun with an awful lot of very, very good, highly motivated people from these organizations. It's an unusual meeting in that it's rare to have such visionary people gathered together. Here you see Cassandra Veaton of the IONS group. But the point of the meeting was to try and think in terms of how we can share resources and share visions to try and further the goal that all of these groups share, which is personal and social transformation. Each one working at it in slightly different ways, but each one also having similar sorts of issues and largely speaking to the same audience. So the thoughts were in how to broaden the approach, broaden the appeal, and at the same time not dilute the message of any of these groups. So it was a very, very high energy time, and a lot came out of it, which I expect for us to be able to act on going forward. But just some scenes from some of this beautiful time in a very, very unusual and beautiful place. Sedona is largely known for its energy vortexes, which are in various different places around the land, some of which we traveled to. But a good deal of our time was spent indoors, talking, thinking, sharing, laughing. We even had some musical sessions, and we even had some yoga sessions. So just a few images of Sedona and the time together at what was called the Sedona Spiritual Summit. And the month ended for me in New York City, where I went for Thanksgiving and also got a chance to speak at the New York Theosophical Society. Lynn Trotman, Michael Gomes, Ed Abdul. My family even came out, my mother, sister-in-law, and daughter, to hear me talk to the group there. It was a good group, quite a full house, and good to always touch base with my New York friends and Theosophical brothers and sisters, and always good to meet new people as well. It's a high energy time and a good way to remember one of the many things that I'm thankful for, this opportunity to serve. And I close with some images taken by Jim Bosco, one of our early morning risers here at Olcott.